Welcome back to ZG Weekly. Hope everyone had an awesome holiday season. I know we've had amazing games in the ZGEC. So much action. Getting ready to restart the winter circuit out at the House of Sport this weekend. Speaking of New York, we have a Fox-sized edition for you this weekend, as in Jim Fox, director of the Long Island Lightning, the largest club basketball program in the country, over 300 teams. Kevin took the trip down to Long Island to meet with Jim Fox. Get ready for an awesome interview. And, Jim, it's always great to have the Long Island Lightning part of ZG.
Here for another ZG Weekly exclusive interview with Jim Fox, CEO of the Island Garden and Executive Director of Lightning Basketball. Jim, thanks for doing this.
Welcome. Great to have zero gravity.
It's great to be down in Long Island, and there's a lot to talk about. The first one, Jim, obviously the Long Island Lightning program. Obviously, we don't have, the time that it would take to talk about the history of the program. But can you sum up the history of the Long Island Lightning program and then where it's come to today?
Sure. We began with one team back 22 years ago in a small gym in Levittown. Actually, a player founded it. And I took it over the next year, and we went from one team. Now this year we expect to have between 275 and 300 teams in multiple states.
It's amazing. In terms of, talk about the alumni. I mean, when you have now 200 and upwards of 270 teams, the alumni that you must have and stay in contact with, where these players have gone on both sides, girls and boys. Talk about that a little bit, the alumni.
We estimate that we had about 600 alumni that went on to play college basketball or other sports. And it's the proudest point. In Island Garden, we have a board as you walk in with most of those names, and we're always capturing those names. And they've gone from places like Harvard and UCLA and down to, and right across to a lot of smaller colleges. We try to place our players where they belong and where they can get a great education. We always want to lift the education level.
And I know you mentioned, obviously there are those players that are playing at the, high D1 level, but then you also mentioned the alumni that are in the world of business, in the world of college coaching. So it's across all platforms.
Right. We're very proud of our doctors, our lawyers, our coaches. In terms of basketball, we have two assistant coaches right now in the NBA. We have Jason Hernandez with the Orlando Magic and Jimmy Moran with Portland Trailblazers.
Wow.
And we have several college coaches. We have Tim Cluse over at Iona. He was a Lightning coach for many years when his kids would come until he moved on to Division I, and he couldn't do that anymore. We have my own son, Jim Fox, who was at Davidson for 13 years, and now he's in his second year at Appalachian State.
Sure. It's got to be so important, too, for the younger kids coming up through the program to see those role models, to see where people have gone, I'm sure.
Right, and we try to incorporate that. We have our our biannual dinner, and we try to highlight basically our Hall of Famers. And these aren't the people that contribute the most. These are people that really have gone out and contributed tremendous things to Lightning and are really have done very well in the business world or in professional sports.
Right. I got to talk about the facility. I know you walking in here, just the smell of it. You could smell the history. Can you talk about the Island Garden and the history of the building itself?
The smell varies, by the way. Sometimes at the end of a long day, it could be a tough smell. Yeah, right. But we opened in 1998. Someone came to me and said, if I build a facility, I had been running leagues and Lightning was picking up at that point. Will I fill it? And I did. And things developed where he left and I took it over as the CEO, and we had some great backing, and we've just flourished. And we're full. We play 110 games a week in this building, and we also have to rent other places, on a regular basis, on a year-round basis. And we have a great time in here. Everybody talks about problems in youth sports, and we rarely have a problem. When we do, we take care of it. But 99.9% of the time, it's just parents just enjoying their kids and kids just loving the game of basketball.
Right. It's great. Talking about your family in particular, it's always amazing to look at where basketball takes people. Can you talk within your own family with your two sons, kind of the path that they've gone on in terms of basketball and where they are now, what they're doing?
Before I get in trouble, I have a daughter too, who is the best player of all of them.
I'm sure she was.
She's a clinical nurse at Sloan Kettering, and she helps cancer patients every day. She's not in the sports world, but she's just great. My oldest son is the head coach at Appalachian State. Still can't say that right for a New Yorker.
Out in the mountains, right?
Up the mountain. First time I went there, I said, "Oh my God!" He had a pretty good first year, and he's a little struggle this year, but he's going to come around. He's doing a great job over there, bringing in his own players. The program was a mess when he got there, just like many other programs and new coaches. And before that, he was at Davidson. He was one of the people who used to work with Steph Curry every day. It had something to do with recruiting him. Of course, Coach McKillop at the lead. But they still stay in regular contact, and they're actually good friends. So I'm very proud. He really knows his basketball, and he loves it. And tough job.
And your other son?
And my other son is a lawyer. He played at Hofstra, the university down the road.
Yep.
He decided he was going to go to law school. And he did. He went through law school, and he's now a practicing attorney, and he's on his own, and he's doing great. And he's a college basketball referee. He's doing a lot of Division I stuff and Division II, and he's busy.
Has he done his brother's game yet?
No, but it's great to sit there and watch a basketball game and just listen, and the way they talk about the game. And of course, there's phone calls that go back and forth when my son, the coach, doesn't like a referee. What is with this? And usually my other son, the referee, says, just calm down. It's but there's a lot of rules and what about this? And there was a play earlier this season where he got a delay of game technical for the team not coming out quick enough.
Right.
He was irate, and of course the first one to get the call was my other son.
Right.
What's the deal here?
Right.
So it's fun, and they love it, and they're close.
A lot of interesting dinner conversations.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Sure.
It's interesting watching on the couch a basketball game.
One of the things, obviously, what we want to do with this program is raise awareness for certain causes, give a voice to the grassroots community, because there's a lot of powerful things going on in it. And we were recently in New York City. We did a little piece on the Orange movement, being spearheaded by the Wrens. Can you talk about the Lightning's involvement and your involvement in the Orange movement? Because we're trying to educate people in the New England region and what this is all about.
It starts with my background. My first career was in federal law enforcement, and I saw the impact of guns. I did several. I worked with I was with U.S. Probation and Parole, but I was in career criminals, and I did cases with NYPD and alcohol, tobacco, firearm, and the FBI, and I saw the damage that guns did, and now we see it coming and hurting our athletes. And what I like about Andy Borman's program is that it's not about political things. It's about let's do something to protect our kids, against the guns that shouldn't be on the street. And so what we did is we jumped right on. It was it took me about 1.2 seconds to decide this matter. I want to be on full-fledged, and so we just finished our uniform purchase. It's crazy. Lightning. I had to buy
quite a few.
Yeah, we bought 2,700 sets of uniforms, and that meant like there's 2 shirts for every set. So was that 5,400? Yeah. And on every one of those shirts there's going to be the orange patch. And our kids and our coaches and our parents are going to know what that means. And if for some reason they don't want to wear that, they can go to another organization, because this is a very important thing to all of us in Lightning.
And we, just like in the first piece that we did, we stressed that people go and check the Orange Movement out in terms of website and awareness, because, as you mentioned, what people don't realize is that it trickles down to the youth, and kids are getting affected by this problem.
We've had, unfortunately, 2 tragedies in the last 2 years, one death and another boy that lost his leg. And then when we're in different parts of New York State, we're in other states, and my Albany guy called me and said, Jim, this is a great idea. We lost a player last year up in the Albany area. So it's all over, unfortunately. And we have to bring awareness, and we have such power. What I love about this building and about Lightning is it brings everybody together. It doesn't matter what race you are, what religion. It does, what your economic background is, or your social, how much money you have. It brings everybody together, and I think by the Orange Movement captures that, and we can work together to say, let's do something. Let's not stand silent.
And we're excited to continue to help raise awareness.
I'm very glad we're working this together.
And obviously now transition into our 5 and 5, a little bit more lighthearted. 5 questions, some quick answers.
Okay.
Want to pick your brain a little bit. First one, being from the New York area, favorite Knicks team of all time?
I'm an old man, but it has to be Bill Bradley and DeBusschere and Willis Reed, and the movement of the ball and the shooting. And God, I wish we had the three-point shot then.
The teamwork, right?
Yes.
Best pizza in New York?
Grimaldi's by far. It's in downtown Brooklyn where I used to work.
Right. And this is a tough question, but the most rewarding part of building the Lightning program, I know it, and you can't sum it up in one word, but what comes to mind?
Just seeing the kids come in the building and being proud to wear the Lightning thing. You know, I know the insurance guys, doesn't like when I open a gym and let anybody in, but I don't care. I get kids off the street, and, they're just kids that love to play. And it's so rewarding to see, and then you see them, a little guy in the third grade hit a game-winning shot. He's going to remember that for the rest of his life. Right? So that's rewarding. It's great rewarding. We had different, people that went through. We have the championship Monday here, all the AAU championship games here on Memorial Day. And I tell every kid, I said, everybody's come through this day.
Right.
And, and that's true.
Right.
But, the most rewarding is seeing the kid maybe is not as talented as the other, just love the game.
Right. Along those lines, I mean, so much travel and, the places you've been, the gyms you've been in. Can you talk about a memorable day that you've had with Long Island Lightning basketball that sticks out?
2 memorable days. One was with Zero Gravity. One of our top coaches who just does it because he loves it, Warren Wagner. He won back-to-back championships with 2 of his different teams on one day in 2014. Wow. And he just loved it. And Warren just teaches those kids. So that was a memorable day to see Warren do that. And then there was another day, I believe it was in 2008, where we had 2 8th-grade teams, one in Division I and one in Division II in the AU, in ESPN, Wide World Sports, and they played back-to-back.
Yeah.
The Division II team lost on a crazy shot. I don't think that coach has ever gotten over that play. But on our other one, our Division I team won, and it was back-to-back, and they've had some players, they've had some of the top players in the country now.
And just, I'm sure the experience, even the loss and the win experience in that as a program, nothing like that. Everybody together.
So proud of it. Yeah, so proud. Still is till today.
And the last question, Jim, as I mentioned to you when I came in here, I'm from Staten Island, and I was just wondering, we hit some traffic on Hempstead Turnpike coming in. Worst traffic, Long Island or Staten Island?
Staten Island, not even close. I don't even go through Staten Island. If I have to go to that part of Jersey, I go around it.
You stay away from 278.
278, and across, the Staten Island Expressway.
You know it. You know it.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, this was obviously an honor to do with the history of the program and everything you've done. It was great for me. For people that want to learn more about the program, website, social media, anything that you want to mention where people can find more information?
Sure. Our website is islandgarden.com. Website is at Lightning Basketball. And we just love it. We just love it. And, I just want to say one thing in conclusion. One of the most important partnerships that I've been able to develop and respect is with Zero Gravity. And he's the leader in the field. And he has my utmost respect, and I just jump on a bandwagon. When Greg Christoph and his crew come down and say, let's do something together, I said, okay, when and where. So we really appreciate that.
And we appreciate that, and the feeling's mutual. Thanks so much, Jim, for doing this.
Bye now.